Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, it's Jake Jabarelli of Jabarelli.com. Just a bunch of referral links. Well, I'm already back at Gold 8, again, with a little bit more information. Hopefully it's useful to you. Just a reminder, we're still doing the giveaway, 100,000 Satoshis, 50,000 Satoshis, and 25,000 Satoshis for a grand total of 175,000 Satoshis to 3 fortunate subscribers to my channel. So if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up, please give me a comment if you have something to say. I always appreciate it. One of the comments you could make is putting your Bitcoin address on my site so that I know you have one. Otherwise, check out the stuff in the description, Atomic and Exodus wallets for getting your own for free. But we're giving that away when I hit 500 subs, so we're going for 500 subs. We're about 2/5 of the way there. Thank you so far. I look forward to that. Let's get into this discussion. So I've already made a video on Gold 8. If you missed that one, it's up in the top right corner, top right hand corner. But I've made a deposit and I've done a little analysis, and I wanted to show you guys again, as it is with all high yield investments, the insane returns you can get, assuming this company lasts more than a year. So, in my personal account, here you can see I have 2 hundredths or 2 thousandths, well, basically 0.02002 Bitcoin, which accounts for about $20 US right now. And it's a 2% because that's where they start you. Anything less than $1,000 US is 2%. Anything in between that's 2.7%. Up to 5,000. Anything above 5,000 is 3.5%. So what I really want to show you guys is the chart, which will be in the description, so that you too can check it out. And of course, you can just look at this. I don't let people edit it, mainly because I'm trying to keep it secure. Sorry about that. If you want a copy, let me just show you that really quick. File, download to your preferred type. I would say grab this and then upload to your own copy of Google Sheets, because Google Sheets is free to everyone who has a Google account. So get yourself a Google account, or any account honestly, and create an account with Google and then run your own copy of Google Sheets. So it's free. Please use this. It's so much easier. Like I said, you just copy. You can even go in and copy right off the chart. You don't even have to copy that. Just copy this into your Excel, or copy it into any spreadsheet you want. Boom, it's done. It has all the equations. The only thing it may not work is this, because this is actually a pointer to CoinMarketCap. Anyways, let me get to the point of this. It's complicated, so let me see if I can explain. Compounding is always better than additive. Now I have both of them here. I have the compound list and I have the additive list. Additive means it just takes whatever the percentage is and adds that to it every single day. So on day 0, here's my deposit amount. On day 1, I have 2% of my initial amount. On day 3, I have 3 times 2%, 6%, right? On day 7, 14%. On day 30, 60%. So it's additive. Now let me show you what that means. You can probably see down here, in a year, how much money would that add up to? $160 US, if the price stayed the same. Obviously it's not going to, but let's presume it were. And at the end of the year, we're back at 9,600 in June 6th of 2021. I would have roughly $160 US, or for this 0.0166 Bitcoin. Now the big difference, you've probably seen this right here, because this is the differential over here. Here's what compounding does, and I'll explain this stuff in a second. At the end of a year of compounding 2%, it's actually more like 730%, but you're still compounding daily because you're getting payments daily. 26,539, or let's round to 26.5, or current prices, 2.75 Bitcoin. Why would you not go with compounding? Now, I get it. Your probably argument is like, I can't leave that money in there for a full year. How do I even know it'll be there? Yeah, exactly my point. Let's do a simple experiment before I get to the other, information here. Let's put 1, and my calculator will automatically update this to 3.5 because I have this equation set up. So if you put in more than 5,000 US dollars, it will automatically update this. But I know you guys can't change this. If you get your own copy, you can do that. So, yeah, 1 Bitcoin, additive method. That's a lot of money, 132,000 US dollars. That's a good chunk of change. I mean, how much is that? 13, almost 14 Bitcoin? That's a lot. But take 1 step to the left, I mean, from here. How much is that? Well, here it says 283,000. Well, let's say 284,000 Bitcoin. I think anybody could know that's more than 283,000 US dollars. That's 2.7 billion US dollars. You'd be a billionaire. Now, this is the reason when I made the video about Speedbit. If you hadn't watched it, I'll link that one up in the corner. But it's the same thing. It's ridiculously high. It's impossibly high. That's the reason I originally made the video called Speedbit, the extreme impossible gains. Absolutely impossible. Now, is this a real number? Yes. Is this going to happen? No. It's not going to happen. Now, I don't have a Bitcoin to play with, but no one's going to give me 284,000 Bitcoin in a year's worth of investing. It's not going to happen. In fact, I would be even really curious if they could make it to 4 or 5 Bitcoin. I'm sure they have that much, but I mean, that would only take me 3 months to compound daily. Actually, that'd be additive, sorry. In a quarter here, in 1 quarter, that's 90 days, 3 months, be 23 Bitcoin compounding from 1. Yeah, that's a lot. I think anybody could know that's a lot. So let me go back to my original 0.002, which I invested with them. What I'm really trying to get at here is, with these 2 little outcroppings here, is how long will compounding take to double your money? So if you put in 0.002 in, it's obviously 0.3035. It's not exactly, it's between these 2 numbers, but the point is, how quickly will it get there? What's double your money? Well, $19.27 at this current price. Well, $40 is roughly twice, right? Okay. So, actually, that's at the compound here. Pardon me, I missed it. But, and then the compounding here. What's this 15 weeks here, which is a little bit more than a quarter? It's the equivalent of doing additive for a year. So if you do 20 US dollars for a year in additive, not compounding, you'll make 160 US dollars, or 0.0166 Bitcoin. But if you do compounding for 15 weeks, which is barely more than a quarter, you'll also get about the same amount right here. So it's much more practical if you can part with these measly amounts of money for 3 months and get what you would have gotten in a year. I'm not quite sure why Gold 8 tries to entice you with, their little, let me go back to it and show you, investors, multiplier, that somehow makes you think that it's going to be, so much money. Oh, 10 US dollars, there we go, and you get out 20 cents a day, but you're only going to get 73 US dollars in a year. That's not very much. But let's say we go back to the chart and put in, 10 US dollars, roughly. It's about $9. But in a year with compounding, it would be 13,000 US dollars, or effectively 1.4-ish Bitcoin. So how do you do that, right? I have this much in here, which is about 20 US dollars right now. How do I get 26,000 US dollars? Now, granted, it would be waiting a whole year. And I said, I'm still not sure that these companies will exist in that much time. So get as much as you can in and out. But how do you do that? Well, it has this little checkbox right here, which I was surprised to see. I was like, oh, you'll let me auto reinvest. So whatever I make per day gets automatically put back into the total. And then I start compounding every day. Now I could put up a chart showing what the exact compounding will be, but really the point here is compounding is far better if you didn't already know before I told you this. Now you're probably thinking, if you know it, then you're thinking, yeah, Jake, we know, no problem. We'll automatically do the compounding, that's better. Fine, you didn't need any explanation, but you probably would have turned this video off before I got to this point. So, compounding is better, flat out. Now, the reason I did this diff on the side over here was to show how quickly it becomes better. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't become better until after you get past a month, 2 months or so. Then you start noticing the difference significantly. So, where's the diff? Okay, it's about 10, right? So your diff starts happening here at 2 months. That's where you know it's starting. So we made a difference of the amount we originally invested at 2 months. That's where you know you've surpassed additive gains or additive interest. Honestly, I'm sure somebody out there still does this, but it's in my opinion a misunderstanding of how banking works. And in general, the high yield investment program is also somewhat of a misunderstanding of how banking works, because you cannot deliver these kinds of gains. And even so, my chart's not entirely accurate. One of the things that they say, which I'll let you on to here, is they say this here: left to invest before the percentage changes. So really, if you leave your money in and let it compound, once you break somewhere between the second and third quarter and get to over $1,000 equivalent, they'll just upgrade you to the 2.7%. And then, of course, inevitably you'll go above the 5,000 here before the year, because you can see the difference is going to happen somewhere in there. And then they'll just upgrade you to 3.5%. So you'd actually reach this number, or the total number after a year would be higher than the number I'm showing. It's just more complicated math, so I didn't do that. This was complicated enough to show the general idea of why compounding is better. But any general number, to me, anything that exceeds, let's say, $500,000 with a certain investment is obviously not impossible, but unsustainable. And maybe I should be more clear about what I mean by unsustainable. How many people is Gold 8 going to support? 1,000? That's it? Okay, well, let's say it was 1,000. 1,000 people put in $1,000 or 0.1 Bitcoin. That's how much? Let's do some simple math here. 1,000, right, times 1,000, right? Million. Okay. Let's find out what a million would be. I think it's 100 Bitcoin, right? Let's see. Yeah, 100 Bitcoin. This isn't going to fit. Okay. So compounded 100 Bitcoin, that's 1,000 people putting in $1,000 is going to be $250 billion, or if we're going to look at Bitcoins, to that 28 million Bitcoin. You know how many Bitcoin there are in the world right now? Not that many. Currently, I think as the last time I checked, there were only 18 million Bitcoin. So in a year, if 1,000 people put in, or yeah, $1,000, they'd have to give out more Bitcoin than exist. So this literally cannot happen. It's impossible. It is factually impossible. I'm sorry to make it statement that way, but it can't happen. It just can't happen. So I'm not entirely sure about the business model that Gold 8 is going for here. I think it's more about attracting people to the general misunderstood possibilities. But that's the point of my videos, is to demonstrate that it's not a possibility, and that if you're going to play with this, it's the same thing as gambling. Well, same thing in the sense that you need to be cool with throwing your money away. So my goal is to do these investments. Let's go back to something more reasonable, like I said here, is to do these investments and get my money back. So you put your money in, like I did with Speedbit, waited 23 days, took my money out, my original investment out. And now everything from there on out, it's been 30 days now, not 23. I'm a week past that period. But from now on, all the money I get from Speedbit is free. I've already paid for it. So the same thing goes here. Once you double your money after 5 weeks with this program, get out. And then whatever you make after that, if you lose it because the company disappears for whatever reason, you didn't lose anything, right? You got your investment back. But what if you can get money out of it? Let's say you waited a little bit longer, because they're going to keep paying you on the interest that was in there. Let's say you went out to the 15 weeks and made what you would have made in a year. That's pretty good, you know. Turning $20 US into 160, that's very good. Now, can you wait longer? Yeah, of course you can, but the likelihood of you keeping your money goes down very, very fast because they cannot support it. So, be cautious with your money. Play only with what you can afford to lose. Do not play with your core money. And let me get to another factor of money. Giving away, like I said earlier in the video, 100,000, 50,000, and 25,000 Satoshis to 3 of my subscribers. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say about this weird math that I put up here, or just you want to ask another question about what I've been explaining, please do. And subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.